Good morning everyone. Welcome again. Today we will discuss topic extinction, generalization, discrimination and spontaneous recovery. So let's start with extinction. Extinction means disappearance of a learned response due to removal of reinforcement from the situation in which the response used to occur. If the occurrence of CS and CR is not followed by US in classical conditioning, or lever pressing is no more followed by food pellets in the Skinner box, the learned behavior will gradually be weakened and ultimately disappear. So, extinction refers to the systematic withholding of reinforcers which had previously maintained a behavior. Ignoring a behavior is an example of extinction if that behavior has been maintained by attention of the person doing the ignoring. Here are some conditions. If the person has previously received continuous reinforcement for the behavior, if reinforcement has occurred only a few times, if the person is not excessively deprived of the reinforcer, if the behavior requires a great deal of effort, if it is possible to withdraw all the reinforcers, if extinction can be combined with punishment, reinforcement of an alternative behavior, or modeling. These are some conditions that work effectively on extinction. Here are resistance of extinction. It means that even though the learned response is now not reinforced, it would continue to occur for some time. However, with increasing number of trials without reinforcement, the response strength gradually diminishes and ultimately it stops occurring. How long a learned response shows resistance to extinction depends on a number of factors. It has been found that with increasing number of reinforced trials, resistance to extinction increases and learned responses reaches its highest level, and at this level performance gets stabilized. After that, the number of trials do not make a difference in the response strength. So resistance to extinction increases with increases number of reinforcement during equation trial. Beyond that, any increase in number of reinforcement reduces the resistance to extinction. Studies have also indicated that this amount of reinforcement number of food pellets increases during the equation trial. Resistance to extinction decreases. So if the reinforcement is delayed during equation trial, the resistance to extinction increase. Reinforcement in every equation trial makes the learned response to be less resistant to extinction. In contrast, intermediate or partial reinforcement during equation trial makes a learned response more resistant to extinction. So this is extinction we have talked about. Now come to the next topic. What is generalization? The process of generalization and discrimination occur in all kinds of learning, and generalization in that after an organism had learned a specific response to a stimulus, it will make the same response to stimuli which are similar to the original stimulus. That is generalization. The behavior we have learned in response to honking cars is a common example of two car horns do not make the same sound, but people learn to respond similarly to all car horns. So in these cases, people respond to a general class, not to a particular. So stimulus generalization occurs when the stimulus similar to the CS also elicits the CR. Strength of CR diminishes as the similarity between the stimuli and the original CS decreases. That is called generalization. Here's one more example, like ringing of telephone is presented. The organism makes a conditioned response to it. The phenomena of responding similarity to similar stimuli is known as generalization. Next is discrimination. Discrimination is the inverse of stimulus generalization. In discrimination, the organism learns to respond differently to similar stimuli. As in stimulus generalization, examples of discrimination are common in everyday life. Traffic lights are one good example. People learn to respond differently to red, green and yellow light. They learn to discriminate. And stimulus discrimination, learning to discriminate between two similar neutral stimuli. When only one is paired with the unconditioned stimulus, experimental neurosis, making stimulus discrimination too difficult may cause hesitation. Later, if returned to original master discrimination, dog is no longer able to discriminate. So, this is an example of discrimination. Now, come to the next topic, spontaneous recovery. Spontaneous recovery occurs after a learned response is extinguished. Suppose an organism has learned to make a response for getting reinforcement. Then the reinforcement is extinguished and sometimes lapses. A question now may be asked whether the response is completely extinguished. Will not occur. If the CS is present, it has been demonstrated that after lapse or considerable time, the learned or CR recovers and occurs to the CS. The amount of spontaneous recovery depends on the duration of time lapsed after the extinction session. The longer and duration of time lapsed, the greater is the recovery of learned response, such as recovery occurs spontaneously. The appearance of conditioned response after either operant or Pavlovian conditioning, after it has been experimentally extinguished. Here you can see this figure. During extinction trial, after a brief rest period, the conditioned response often briefly appears. You can see this figure in your book also, Phenomena of Spontaneous Recovery, Strength of the CR and the trials, equation, CS plus US, then extinction CS alone, then spontaneous recovery CS alone. So this is a phenomena of spontaneous recovery diagram. That's it for today. Next time we will move further. Thank you.